Hello there, Michelle here, and I'm back with a card using some Creator Smile products. So first of all, I've cut a little panel of cardstock out with the little Inca stitched rectangle die, and then I'm taking the Creator Smile Bad Day stamp set, and I'm using this cute little chick image, and I'm going to stamp that in the bottom right hand corner of this little card panel. And I'm going to stamp it with some Memento Tuxedo black ink because I'm going to be using some Copic markers and I don't want the ink to bleed. So I'm going to share with you how I'm colouring it in. I am going to speed this process up and I'm going to play some music for you, so I hope you enjoy. So after I finish colouring, I'm taking this paper pad from Creator Smile. This is the Feel Good collection, and what I really like about this paper pad is that the front of the paper is really nice bright colours and patterns, and then the back is like a really nice subtle pattern, and I really like that for stamping on. So I'm taking the same stamp set, and this is the Feel Better Soon sentiment, and I'm inking it up with the same Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I'm just going to stamp that on the top, and then I'm going to cut it out with my guillotine. This paper has got a slight coating on it, but it stamped absolutely perfectly and the ink dried straight away, so I didn't have a problem with it. So I'm going to use this as my sentiment strip on the panel, and I'm also going to take some of the other patterns from the same paper pad. I'm using a stripy piece and then also another of the same pattern, which is kind of like the back side of the paper, I suppose. It depends which way you want to use it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these strips down at like the end of it at a diagonal with my scissors. And then for the stripy piece, I'm going to use my scissors and cut this, and I'm going to use the stripes as my kind of guideline of where I want to cut. So I'm just figuring out here how I want them to be on the panel. And then I'm taking my ATG and I'm going to use the orangey kind of dark yellow piece, and I'm going to slant it upwards. And then with the stripy piece, I'm going to do it so it's slanting slightly downwards. And then the actual sentiment piece itself will be put on there straight. So I personally think it's a bit easier to read if sentiments are straight. So again, I'm just going to work out where that is, and then I'm going to take my scissors and just cut off the end of that. And then I'm going to use my guillotine again and just take off the little bit of extra bit at the side. I always like to make the panel, you know, the piece of card or paper, whatever I'm stamping on, a little bit longer, just so that I've got an extra bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to take some foam tape here, and I'm just going to, I've got a tiny little bit that I tend to just stick onto the side of the foam roll, just in case. Then I can just save every little bit of it, even though they're absolutely massive rolls. So what I'm going to do is just going to add a little strip into the middle of it, and I'm going to make sure that the foam doesn't go all the way to the edge, because I want to add some enamel dots underneath it, and they're quite dimensional, and it can sometimes pop up the actual piece. So now I'm taking a card base, and this is an A2 white card base. and I've cut 2 more of the patterns out. This is the kind of subtle pattern in 2 more colours from the paper pad, and I'm going to layer them up. Now, I don't tend to use pattern paper that much, however I really like it in this kind of way of layering it up, but it still looks like a clean and simple card. So I'm just sticking those down, and I'm kind of angling them slightly so that you can see a tiny small amount from each side. And then for the actual panel itself, I'm going to use some more of the foam tape, and I'm just going to put a few lines of it on the back, and then so that will be popped up as my main focal point. So I like to use tweezers just to take the backing off of the tape. This one actually is really quite easy to lift off, but I have nurse's nails which are very, very short, so I find it easier with the tweezers. So I'm then going to take some glossy accents, and I'm going to use that on the little chick's beak just to give a kind of added extra to the card. And sorry for my head here that gets in the way. And then I'm going to take some enamel dots, and I'm going to use that to highlight the sentiment strips. So these are the My Mind's Eye Now and Then Milo inspired enamel dots, and I thought the colours would work really well with the pattern papers and the images that I've used. So I'm taking these enamel dots, and I'm going to use my little pokey tool here. I find it easier to kind of grab them and kind of place them where I want to. Again, I do apologise for my head here, but I thought I would use a yellow and kind of the aqua colour, and then a bit of a darker blue. And I'm just using that, like I said, to accent the sentiment panel. And that's the card for today. All of the products that I've used will be listed in the description box here on YouTube and on my blog. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.